This is the beginner guide for survivors. Since I am a survivor player, most of my guides are survivor sided. They're more catered to the survivors because, yeah, I'm a survivor main. The way survivors win in rank is teamwork. But since we don't have voice comms, the only way to really communicate with each other are pings, and that's why pings are very important in IdentityV. You have to know what each ping means, and you have to keep helping each other with your pings. Even in a relationship, communication is very important. So what are the ping categories? So there's the auto ping. We can see in this video, if the hunter is nearby you, the ping will automatically appear, the little speech bubble underneath your name. You're going to click on it, and then that's going to be sent towards your teammates. It lets them know that the hunter is near you, and therefore you're being chased, and they're safe to decode for now until I ping that the hunter has changed targets. So this is a wheel ping. It makes it very easy for you to ping while you're kiting. You don't have to use this, but for me it's very useful. This one, there's a limited number of pings that you can have on this wheel, so I just use the most important ones. If I'm kiting, the dungeon's nearby, I'm going to ping the dungeon is here. Cipher machine's primed, focus on decoding, stay put, I'm coming for the rescue. The ones that I use the most and the ones that are necessary. Sorry isn't all that necessary, but you know, when I mess up, I like to apologize because I feel bad. You can customize this wheel, so choose the ones that you use regularly when you're kiting. The hunters nearby, you don't really need this ping as much because when the hunter approaches you, you get the automatic ping that I just talked about. But even when you have heartbeat, you can still use it. So if the hunter is like close enough and you don't get the automatic ping, you can still use the hunters nearby. So I think it's still pretty important. Hunter has detention. I get hit here. I have delayed damage, so I'm just gonna run. I'm just gonna try to get to the exit gate. And also the dungeon's outside of the graveyard, but the exit gate doesn't have a lot of progress. So then suddenly I'm like, okay, I can't die next to this exit gate. I have to die further away. So I'm reading the ping, so I don't actually look back. I should have been looking back, and thankfully the foggy blade misses. Hunter does end up choosing to chair me. As a result, that gives enough time for the composer to open up the exit gate and escape. Even in other situations, you want the survivors that are at the exit gate pinging Cipher's primed or the exit gate's open, you want them to leave as quickly as possible because you want to get that dungeon escape. This ping is very important. Just spam this ping so that they will leave, and then you could possibly get a dungeon escape. And because I've used this wheel for so long, I know exactly where each message is without me having to read it, so I'll just be able to make any pings with muscle memory instead of having to read down a list, which is much faster, and I can ping very easily while kiting. Similar to the wheel, this is customizable. Pick and choose the pings that you think are necessary and then you need, and just keep it in this list. Use it accordingly. The next ping category is the area ping. The most important from these two is where the basement is at and where the dungeon is at. We'll go into more detail about that later, and maybe where the hunter is moving towards. So you see the hunter going towards graveyard, then you'll be like, hunter's moving towards graveyard. If you don't know the names of the specific areas, you can always go to mark your location on the mini-map. If you open that up, you can see the entire map and just say where that area is relative to your position or relative to the graveyard. You know how to read a map, right? Yeah. You just click on that and it will automatically find the location for you, and it will send the ping as soon as you click on the area. This ping is also very useful in the situation where the last cipher has significant progress, but your teammate doesn't know which cipher it is. You're going to say the cipher machine at blank has a lot more cipher progress, so that then hopefully your teammate will understand and head towards that cipher machine. If the cipher machine is around 20% and it's a very large map, then it's fine for the survivor just to work on a new cipher machine, because transitioning all the way to that 20% cipher machine might just take up too much time. So be very mindful when you utilize this ping. In other situations, yes, the cipher machine might have more decoding progress, but if the hunter is heavily guarding this cipher, then it's just better to start a new cipher machine. It's dependent on the situation, so use it accordingly. Character pings, this is quite straightforward. You're just gonna click the teammate's name. Hunter is pursuing perfumer, hunter is pursuing mercenary. You can usually use this in the beginning where we know everybody's spawn points. You see hunters going towards factory where a decoder would most likely spawn, right? Hunter is pursuing lawyer. something like that, and then that way the lawyer will know, oh, hunter is going for you. If you don't remember spawn points, just say the hunter has changed targets, which means the hunter is not anywhere near you and it's going for someone else. Beware. A lot of the times in rank, the rescuing character goes for the first rescue so the other survivors can decode, but the rescuer is too far away and there's a survivor that's closer, then the mercenary could ping perfumer, go to the rescue. Pretty simple. Or like even just like ping help me. Those are the old pings that we used to have back in the days, but it still means the same thing. Another thing we could see is the healing. The first survivor is sent back to the manor. The first and the second survivors that went to rescue are both at half health, and there's a full health survivor. The full health survivor will most likely decode, and the other two will heal up, so they could be like, oh, antiquarian, heal the mercenary, or mercenary, heal the antiquarian. And if you want, someone's coming towards you to heal you, but you don't need the heal, then you'd be like, perfumer, decode the cipher machine. Just, simple stuff. Combination pings also pretty straightforward. Hunter is at factory pursuing whichever person. If you want to just be more specific, blank, decode perfumer, decode the cipher machine at factory. Lawyer is knocked down at... These ones usually aren't that useful. You can just use the simpler ones. Usually when the hunter is chasing other survivors, I like to just look at the pings to see where everything is and just get used to being able to press them. Obviously don't ping things that are incorrect, but just get used to looking at them, know where everything is when you want to send a message. But when you're very new, just start off with the most simple pings. And when you're getting chased, don't try to send any complex pings. You don't have to. Just ping hunters near me, that's good enough. The last category is the ability ping. The first one, usually when the game begins and the first person's kiting, you let your teammates know if Blink's cooldown has ended, and then when Hunter uses the Hunter's ability, just in case someone was not paying attention, you just say Hunter used Blink ability, or Hunter has teleported to. You don't really need to use Hunter has teleported to, because the person will know if the Hunter teleports to them. And then watch out for Blink, abnormal, blah blah blah. The hunter has, we usually use it like at the end game. If the hunter just used their ability, we know it's on cooldown, so then you'd use the hunter used this ability. Hunter used teleport, hunter used blink, so that means it's on cooldown and the hunter can't use it to get to the gate. But if they didn't use their ability and hunter has teleport, you would ping, oh, the hunter has teleport, just to make sure that your survivor teammates are careful. Oh, and I forgot to mention, a very important ping when you let other survivors know Hunter used is you have to let other survivors know if Hunter used abnormal. And you have to ping it quite often in case some people aren't paying attention, so that they know either to just start a new cipher machine or that cipher is not going to be primed anymore. At the beginning of the game, always ping your cipher machines. The cipher machines that are pinged will show up on the mini map. If you're decoding your cipher machine and you ping focus on decoding, that cipher machine will not show up on the mini map, so make sure you always ping your progress. Here in this example, the mercenary and the little girl are pinging their cipher machines, but the composer is not pinging his cipher machine, so we don't know where he's pinging, we don't know the cipher progress. It's not very helpful. This way, we can keep track of cipher machines on the map. We can see the cipher layout. Now we know the first 3 cipher machines, so if one person isn't able to finish their cipher, we can go and finish up their cipher machine or finish it up later in the game. But we'll always remember where the ciphers are. Another thing to note is if you see a cipher machine if you walk past a cipher machine or you see a cipher machine close by, those cipher machines will also appear on your mini-map. So even if no one was working on those cipher machines, but you walk by a cipher machine or there's a cipher machine close by, it will still show up on the mini-map. Here, all 3 survivors are pinging their cipher machines, so we have a general idea of the cipher progress. We know where all 3 ciphers are, and on top of that, the person getting chased is also pinging, so we also know the location of the hunter. So there's lots of good teamwork here, and a lot of information just by the pings at the beginning of the game. As I've said before, every single cipher machine that has been pinged and all the cipher machines that I saw or was close enough to will be recorded on the mini-map, so you'll be able to know the cipher layout. That's why it's very important to remember the first 3 ciphers that were finished, so that we know not to go to that area, or if it wasn't finished, to go and finish those cipher machines. So always pay attention, know where the ciphers are, use your mini-map as a guide. This is the endgame situation. Enchantress pings hunters nearby. We can see the Gravekeeper pinged his Cipher machine. I was working on the Cipher machine that's close by, and Enchantress is kiting long enough. At this point, even if she does go down, we can prime up that last Cipher machine, so I'm just going to be waiting to rescue. I'm basically communicating to the Gravekeeper, continue decoding. If the hunter goes to you, then I can get a free rescue and we can work on the Cipher machine on this side because this is my Cipher. And currently the Enchantress is kiting here, so I can't work on this Cipher machine. I can just rescue her later. It's 84%. Enchantress has just been chaired, so we definitely have enough time. I'm gonna wait until the Cipher machine is primed before I go for this rescue because of borrowed time. This is an endgame trait that survivors can bring on their persona web. Fear recovers by 50%, so your damage recovers by 50%. They sometimes call it fear, and the dash speed is increased by 50% for 5 seconds when the exit gate is activated. So that's why we prime up the last Cipher machine to 99%. We get the rescue. If the hunter downs or hits or injures a survivor, we then pop the Cipher machine so that the survivor that went down can get back up. In the event that I'm getting chased but I'm in a very good kiting area and I would rather you just pop the Cipher machine before I go down, I would then ping focus on decoding and they will pop the Cipher machine before I get injured or hit. When people don't ping focus on decoding, just automatically pop the last Cipher machine when somebody gets hit. Gravekeeper pings Cipher machine prime. Now I'm going to be going for this rescue. I get the rescue on the Enchantress. Enchantress gets immediately hit. Ciphers are going to pop so that she gets right back up. And now the Gravekeeper is going to go straight for the exit gate. I'm running in this same direction as the Enchantress, but Enchantress is still up. So that's enough time for me to make it towards the exit gate, and she still hasn't gone down. And the hunter wants the Enchantress because Enchantress is dead on chair. I look at the Cipher progress. It's 35%. Here, I just hope that she doesn't teleport because she does have teleport, but thankfully she picks up the Enchantress and that's going to allow the exit gate to open and I'm going to be able to arrive in time. And then we get that 2-man escape. So communicate well, ping your progress. You have to ping your progress. Because I saw the Gravekeeper's progress and I realized, yeah, it's going to be opened in time as long as the hunter doesn't teleport. But since the hunter doesn't know the exit gate progress, or doesn't know as well as the survivors, I feel like she wanted to play it safe and then she just chaired the Enchantress first instead of teleporting straight to the exit gate. I finished the 4th Cipher machine. Enchantress is dead on chair. Last Cipher machine is 91. I spam focus on decoding because I can't make it to the other side of the map to help him finish that Cipher machine. So he just utilizes his pocket watch and is able to finish up that Cipher machine in time. Unfortunately, first officer can't really get anywhere because the hunter's right next to him, but that's going to allow me to open up the exit gate and escape. But, you know, good job on the first officer utilizing that pocket watch just to be able to finish that Cipher. I'm on the last Cipher machine. Little girl's chaired in basement. Composer's going in for this rescue. It's not quite ready, so we might have to rescue just to keep the hunter away from this last Cipher machine. And he, you know, I don't feel like he's gonna go to the last Cipher. He does have teleport though, so computer takes a hit. He makes it to the basement. Cipher machines are primed in time. He goes down. I pop the Cipher machine. The composer probably went down with Foggy Blade, and so the little girl, so there was no attack recovery, and then the little girl got hit immediately, and it's an endgame situation. Hunter has teleport, so he ends up teleporting to me, so the composer does end up getting out, so it's not me just escaping. If you are a survivor that does not bring borrowed time, always make sure to ping your final talents so that teammates will know to pop Cipher machines before you go down. And the final talents is you can choose it on the list. If you have borrowed time, most people just assume you have borrowed time, so then they will just expect the Cipher machines primed, focus on decoding, ping back and forth. But if you don't, make sure you ping your final talents. Another situation where final talents are useful is if you still have Tide Turner and you haven't used it yet, then it's good to just let people know and then go for the rescue. Especially if the gate is open next to the person that's chaired and you have Tide Turner, then you get the rescue, then everyone can escape. So just remember your traits and remember to ping them when necessary. Always ping hunter's traits so that once you ping the hunter's trait, it's going to be saved. So the next time you go back to hunter's traits, you're going to be seeing. So the first time I ping, oh, the hunter has blink. Then I go back to hunter's traits to ping it again. I don't have to re-click on blink. It will already be saved. And that way you could always keep tabs on what the hunter's trait is. It's basically having the notes on your pings. That way, even if you forget, you could always just check your pings, and then it will tell you, oh yeah, the hunter had this. It's also very important to let survivors know, especially when it's peepers and abnormal, because if you're not close enough, you won't be able to hear the hunter's traits. Like when we hear hunter use blink, well, each ability has a certain sound, but peepers, it doesn't have any sound, and abnormal, you have to be close enough for you to hear that sound. If you play long enough, you'll know all the sounds. And in case somebody doesn't know the sounds, it's good to just like ping it so that the survivors will start to understand, like, oh, especially for new survivors, oh, this sound means blink. You understand, right? As I'm decoding on second story, I pinged hunter has peepers. The next time I go to the abilities ping tab, you can see peepers is already there, and I don't have to re-click on peepers, so it's saved. So use it like a notes app in game. We're both at half health. First officer gets chaired. I'm trying to prime up the last Cipher machine, and the hunter decides to go after me because, you know, we're very vulnerable at half health, and if he lets us prime up that Cipher machine, then he'll be in a disadvantage. So he just changed targets. I continuously ping the hunters near me, which means to psychologist means go for that rescue, because the hunter is like, he's on me, right? And so I'm just trying to get as far away from my Cipher machine. I don't know why he doesn't hit me here, but I survive a little bit longer. But then I see the basement here, and I'm like, oh no, I can't go this way either. And then I just like run out into the open. I just kind of panic, and then I'll be going down here, and then we end up losing this game. But you know, the psychologist did still get that backdoor rescue. So, you know, if I played it a little differently, unless you are dying very far away from a chair and you know you can struggle free, don't bother pinging your location. That's fine. But if you go down and you're ballooned and you know there's a chair nearby and you can't struggle free, ping your location. Ping your location so that the teammate can prepare for the rescue. If you're a harasser, you want to be able to harass. That's why it's good to ping your location constantly so that they'll kind of be able to position themselves, and if they can get the angle, they'll be able to harass. If you're just a survivor, any other character going in for this rescue, you don't want to be too far from the chair, because then you're not going to make it in time to get the before half rescue. Or any hunter character that is faster than you, if you're hit too far away from the chair, they're going to make it to the chair before you, and that means you're going to just get hit twice and you're not going to be able to get this rescue. So in order to prepare for the rescue, just ping your location when you're ballooned. In the previous clip, the explorer did ping when he was ballooned, so I could set up for the rescue and go around and make sure the hunter didn't see me too far away. And in this clip, as the perfumer, the survivor is chaired on or near my Cipher machine, so then I just let my rescuer know I'll be getting the first rescue because it's on my Cipher machine anyways. And that way the rescuer can also just keep decoding and he can just go for the second rescue. Enchantress here says help me because she wants to get deleached. Puppeteer is currently ballooned, so I do deleach the Enchantress first. Puppeteer gets chaired. Psychologist pings Dream, which is near me, so I look and it's like, okay, Psychologist is gonna get the rescue, so I ping help me to the Enchantress to be like, let me help you get healed. So help me has quite a lot of meanings, and the context can be very different each time. For example, like I could have also been saying help me to the Psychologist, as in like help me get the first rescue instead, because you're close by anyways. So try to understand the context in the game, like within the game, what could this possibly mean. Watching streamers also helps, because then you'll understand the game language a little more. Similarly to the hunter's ability ping, when you ping the basement, it leaves a record in the chat, so that during the game, if you do ever forget, you could just check the chat if you've pinged the basement and you'll be able to see where the basement is. Another thing that is very important is make sure to ping the basement often, because sometimes people just aren't paying attention. And also make sure to ping the basement when the survivor is chaired, so that the survivor that was kiting most likely isn't looking at pings all that much because they're fighting for their life, right? But once they are on the chair, then they will most likely be able to see pings, just to see like, oh, what's the cipher progress all around the map? Where are the ciphers that are being worked on? And when you get to ping the basement, that makes sure that they don't kite towards the basement and then go down in the basement and then give us a hard rescue for the chair. If you click on the auto ping, the basement is at church, there won't be a record left in the chat, so make sure you input it by yourself so that it will leave a record in the chat. So this is the beginning of the game. Everyone's pinging their cipher machines. I see Enchantress pings basement is at cottage. So then I make sure to ping basement is at cottage as well, so that I will have that note the next time I check my list. So I'll always know where basement is if I ever do forget during the game. And Enchantress doing a very good job continuously letting us know where the basement is. Now I'm just going to look to see where the Cipher machines are, and Enchantress Cipher machine was locked, so now she's starting her Cipher machine. So now I know, okay, the Enchantress just started her Cipher, so she doesn't have a lot of progress. Cheerleader gets a hit, and she transitions out. And I just also ping, basement is at cottage, because I see that the cheerleader is heading towards cottage and I'm a little concerned, so we're just also trying to let the cheerleader know if she does happen to look up at the pings that the basement is at cottage. She's gonna go down near the cottage. I don't think she gets chaired in basement here though, but because I know the Cipher progress, I know that Enchantress is only 50. I'm almost finished with mine. Gravekeeper is gonna go for the first rescue because I have I have one in order, so I know that I'm gonna go take over the Gravekeeper's Cipher machine while the Gravekeeper is going for this rescue. He also did ping Cipher machine at the center field, has more progress, and I know that Enchantress isn't done before me, so I know that I will be able to finish up the Cipher machine. And then if the Gravekeeper does end up getting hit, I can go for that second rescue. So this is why pinging is so important. So now we have all of the first 3 Cipher machines. They'll most likely be completed here, and then we can head to the next Ciphers. So we know where the location of all 3 of the Cipher machines are. And so Gravekeeper is going to start the 4th Cipher machine, and Enchantress is going to start the 5th Cipher machine, and I'm going to go for the second rescue because I'm closer. And this is an opera singer, so you don't want to be found too far away from the chair because she can get to the chair before you. I said there are certain hunters that can, if you give a hit too far away, that it will benefit them quite a lot. So opera singer is one of them. So you don't want to be hit too far away from the chair. Here she baits my... Okay, never mind. This is another game. Now I see the basement is not in graveyard, which means it is at the old geisha house. So I make sure to ping basement is at old geisha house, so that I will have a mental reminder and everybody else has a mental reminder. Same thing for the dungeon. If you hit the auto ping dungeon is here, then that location doesn't get saved in the notes, recorded. So then, you actually saw this gameplay before, but so I'm just watching the situation and I'm like, oh yeah, let me just make sure the survivors know like the location. So I ping dungeon is here, but that doesn't leave a record. So then I go to the area, go to the dungeon tabs, and I click Graveyard North. And now I will always have that mental reminder that the dungeon is at Graveyard North. Yeah, so the same thing for dungeons and basement. Make sure you ping the actual location so that it could be saved in your ping tabs. I don't want to block any of these survivors. This is just what you do when you want to block survivors after rank match and you don't want to get them in the next matches. You click don't want to team up, then you click the red button next to the survivors, and that's how you block them. And you can block up to 6 survivors and it resets after each week, so choose wisely. If you are a beginner, it is going to take some time to get used to utilizing your pings. Always start with the easiest pings and then move on from there. It takes a while, so be patient with yourself, and most importantly, make sure you enjoy playing the game. I hope this guide was helpful. Also, they did say that they're going to update the mini-maps, so everything that I have taught you might change. But hopefully not. But if there are some major adjustments and some things, more information I learn, I could just put up an updated version, but we'll have to wait and see what the changes are to the minimap, and then we'll go on from there.